Okay, so this video is about kitchen equipment and utensils that I would say are essential. Of course, some people get loads of fancy gadgets and things in the kitchen, but this is just what I think is essential on a budget. So, first thing I'd say is when you're buying equipment, make sure it is good quality, because if you get stuff that is really low quality, then it's going to get worn and you're just going to have to buy another one and you'll probably be spending more money. So just get some good quality ones to start with and it will last you the year or longer. So, to get started, the first thing I would say is essential is a large saucepan. So, of course, I have a small one as well, which is useful for just little things. But if you just want to get one, this is a large one. I'd say the top of here is about 25 centimetres. So, yeah, great for pasta, boiling anything, also for soups and things like that. So that's the first thing. The next I would say is your frying pans. So I have two here. I have a large one, which is, I would say, the most essential one. You can use it for everything. Make sure everything is non-stick. So that's what this coating is. You can see I have it on all my pans and baking trays as well. Get yourself a large one. I'd say this is about 30 centimetres probably. And then I also get a small one because if I'm just cooking up a small breakfast or something like that, it's just easy to do in a small one and it's less clunky when you're washing up. So I'd say this one is about 20 centimetres, 18 centimetres, something like that. Then I would say make sure you get a large chopping board. So I always get a wooden one with a handle. I just think that's easier, and I prefer it's plastic because I find them more stable. Yeah, just make sure it's good quality. Really cheap ones that tend to, once they have a big crack in, they tend to break. So that's the one I would go for. Then baking trays. So you can get, I tend to have two types, but you can just have one. I have a metal one and a glass one. These two are both actually quite small. So I would, if you just want one, I'd probably go for a metal one and I'd go for a larger one than this. So this is probably 20 by 25 centimetres. If you can get a larger one, it's great for baking, for savoury tray bakes, cakes, anything. So definitely, I'd say that's probably the top one to get. Obviously, glass ones are great for casserole dishes or things that you want to see. Also puddings and crumbles where you actually want to see what's in it. Make sure they're all oven proof as well. Then the next thing I would say, make sure, a lot of people forget this, is a pair of oven gloves. So these are mine. They are relatively long because so they're relatively long because somewhere where people always burn themselves is here, just on their wrist. So make sure it's long enough. You can also get silicone ones, which are really good too. Now, talking about silicone, this is officially my favourite piece of equipment. It's a silicone spatula. As you can see, it's quite bendy, really easy to manipulate. These are really great for things like scrambled eggs and pancakes that some people burn really easily or find them difficult to make. I use this probably every single dish. I use it as a wooden spoon as well. I use it for getting cake mixture around bowls. Super, super useful. Definitely get one if you can. Then the next things, something people always forget to bring is a tin opener, because on the first day when you're making beans on toast or whatever it is, yeah, just make sure you've got one. Make sure it's good quality, because cheap ones tend to either not actually cut the tin or they just break. So this is my one. It's all metal. Yeah. Then a wooden spoon, baking, just using in every dish. Then I would say make sure the two things that are just useful around the house as well is a bottle opener. With just it has a little knife attached, like one of these things. Yeah, really useful. And kitchen scissors, especially for opening things when you can't get into them. So those two, definitely useful to have. Then knives. So these are the two knives that I would say to get. Not necessarily these brands or anything, but I would definitely get a large one. So this, I would say the actual blade is about 20 centimetres, and then I would say this one is about 8 centimetres. So make sure your knives are always sharp. Don't use blunt ones, because you're going to slip on your food, and then you're probably going to end up with an injury. So make sure they're sharp. Get some good quality ones. These, I've had these for years. I even take these home to use at my family home as well. So they're really great. Okay, so then we have a large mixing bowl. So this is a plastic one. This one is actually huge. Probably don't need it this big. You could get a metal one, plastic or glass. They're all great for loads of different recipes, making marinades as well if you're, you know, putting chicken or tofu or anything. Then I would say everyone is trying to help the environment in their own little ways, and something that I think so many of my friends do at uni now are reusable thermos flasks and water bottles. So I have both of these. I use these throughout my undergrad degree and they're still fine, they still work. This one has a little straw thing, just because I find it easiest, and it's not too big, so I can take it just in like a handbag if I'm going to uni just for a meeting or something. This is a Thermos flask, really good. Just make sure it doesn't spill, like make sure it doesn't leak or anything, because that's a problem I have with a lot of brands. Okay, so, oh yeah, one more thing that is essential is a spoon. Just a serving spoon. It's just so useful for every dish, especially when you're trying to divide it between people and maybe you haven't got a spatula or something. So yeah, a serving spoon. Then some other things that personally they're not essential, but they just make life so much easier. It's a grater, so you can get these ones, which are just the grated cheese or whatever it is, ends up there. You can get different varieties of these, large grates or small ones as well. And a garlic crusher. Super useful. You don't have to have one, you can just chop it up tiny, but then it's more likely to get all over your fingers, and this is something that a lot of students I know just really love to have. Okay, so next big thing is Tupperware. So I would say, if you can, get 3 sizes. I tend to have one really big one. I'd say that is maybe 22 centimetres, something like that, across. And this is what I store my batch cook things in. So when I've made a big dish, that is, for example, 4 portions worth, I put it in here. Then you have another one, which is kind of lunchbox size, taking into uni, maybe a freezer portion or something like that. And then a small one. So small one is for, you know, yogurt or berries or whatever you want. So another tip is, if you have a takeout, keep the plastic boxes. They're perfectly usable, or ice cream tubs. I know people who have had ice cream tubs for years. I think my parents still use them for Tupperware. So yeah, just keep hold of them. Don't throw them away. There's no point. It's just waste. So that's all I've got. I've just shown you, as I mentioned earlier, this is just a small chopping board I had. I just find it really useful for little salads or little things that I want to make and not get out big clunky equipment. So that's everything. Go out and buy some if you haven't got them already, and enjoy all the other videos.